Hey everyone, it's Alyxus with Fidelity Real Estate Brokers. We are a real estate company based out of Edmond, Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, we have weather that varies all week long. We can have 4 different types of weather all in 1 week. So with that being said, I had put together some maintenance tips for y'all to kind of go over and look before the springtime comes. So one of the things that I usually look for in a home are any water leaks. You can look for water leaks in your toilets, your faucets, your washing machine hoses, your water heater, and any kind of physical pipes, plumbing that you can look at and see if there are any leaks. I would suggest looking for. Another thing would be your air conditioning and heating systems. Your air conditioner and heating systems are one of the most overlooked appliances when people perform regular home maintenance inspections. And so when you look for those, you just kind of want to look and see if anything is out of the ordinary or sounds out of the ordinary. Another thing would be if you have induct humidifiers. Inductive humidifiers are really good for, especially for the winter time. It keeps the air moist and healthy. However, if those are used improperly or not working properly, they can definitely create a breeding ground for mold and bacteria, which can cause a serious air quality issue. So just keep those in mind if y'all do happen to have humidifiers inside your homes. One of the most common things that people always suggest is to check your air filters. People suggest you check them every month. If it's in the peak of the summer and the peak of the winter, they suggest every 2 weeks. However, if that's not something that you are routinely doing, try and do it at least every month or 2. Depends on your budget, but they're really not that expensive, and in the long run, it saves you a lot on your electric bill. So something else you could keep an eye out for are drafty windows. You ever notice if you're sitting by a window and it feels like it's really cold right there? Well, that's just because the caulk right there just needs to be scraped out with maybe a box cutter. Go get you some caulk from Home Depot. It's really not that expensive, and go in and re-caulk it yourself. It probably will seal it up a little bit more, and not so much air or cold air or so much hot air will come inside your home. Another overlooked item would be gutters. I suggest to clean out your gutters once a year, and that's just because it will keep the flow of the rain and the storms that come in. It'll keep the water flow away from the roof and things like that. So definitely make sure that your gutters are cleaned every year. You also want to go in and make sure that there's no leaks or damage to those gutters, and if there are, go in and replace it. If you do it now, you're going to save money in the long run, because in the long run you might have multiple gutters that were needing to be replaced, and then you have to spend more money. So something else would be to periodically check your roof. Check for any damage or discolored shingles, and if there are discolored or damaged shingles, go ahead and replace those. And I say that just because it'll give you a longer lasting time for your roof, and you won't have to, it'll also prevent you from having to go in and get your roof changed so often. So these are just kind of some of the home maintenance things that I look for when I'm looking at rental properties or even my own properties or my own home. So having a home maintenance plan can make a huge difference in the long run and in your bank account. So if you're a homeowner, I highly suggest you always have a maintenance budget, just because I have learned throughout property management that maintenance issues occur no matter when, no matter how, no matter what. So you always want to prepare for those as a homeowner. If you're somebody that rents a home, you definitely want to keep an eye out for all these things, just because it's not your home, and you definitely want to keep it keeping it up to par, and you want it to look good for future tenants, or if the owner ever wants to move back or whatever it might be. Just keep the home in good shape and make sure you're keeping an eye out on all these things, because some things might fall back on you, or some things the owner might not be able to replace right then and there. And if you had periodically checked these things, it might have been able to be prevented. So that's really all I have for y'all. I really hope that y'all get something out of it. Go check a few things that you're like, I've never thought about checking that. So if so, y'all go check those out, and y'all will definitely be hearing from me again. I hope y'all have a really good weekend.